evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday night's Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by Small Affordable Cars in Tamworth. I'm Paul Hipkiss, and tonight we're joined by Mark Meredith.
Hey all.
Mark Adams.
Good evening, everyone.
Claire Gibley.
Good evening.
Craig Courtney.
Good evening, but it's Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, blimey.
No one's saying anything.
Tell how tired we are, can't you?
One job.
Only got one job.
Blimey, welcome to Tuesday night's Tilton Talk Show. Chris, and also Chris Brown, how can I forget to save the best till last?
And well done for completely ignoring what I said earlier as well, Paul. About no intros.
I'm looking at the screen and I can't see our names anywhere, so I thought I'd do it anyway.
They were there. Yours was in tiny writing.
It's not been a bad week, has it? Overall, we picked up our first win under Wayne Rooney on Saturday. Unconvincingly, I'll say. I think first half, we were huffed and puffed a bit, and inevitably went a goal down from the run of play. I must say, the way the game was going, and that second half, I thought we came out a lot better and got, what Wayne wanted. We was getting more for, from the players on the attacking on the front foot and being in the face of the Sheffield Wednesday. But I will say, being the team that were bottom of the league, they come and have a go at us, didn't they? They did come and have a good go. And, in the second half, I thought, we were worthy winners. And when Jordan James came on, he just gave us that drive, didn't he, going forwards, and, got the winner eventually, which was lovely. So it was nice to see us get our first win, and hopefully now we can build on that starting tomorrow night now and have an even better week. So, and then obviously last night at the open house session as well, I was honoured to be invited to that, and what a night that was, which obviously we'll come on to as we get into the show. But Claire, give us your thoughts on the game on Saturday.
I thought we played okay. I think second half was a lot better than the first half. I think we lacked the intensity that we normally have in the first half. I mean, Bakuna's goal was brilliant. I think he needs to shoot more often. I think JJ came on. I mean, really good finish, nice and composed as well. I know that lots of people are like, they're bottom of the league. I don't know whether people are expecting us to, win 3 or 4-0, but at the end of the day, they came out and they played really well as well. I thought it was an even game. I just think, it's a work in progress. I mean, I'm just still, thinking about what he said last night, to be honest. And you can kind of see what they're trying to do. But, first win, we got Blackburn tomorrow, so we never normally get anything there. And then we play against Rotherham. So hopefully this can springboard our season, have a bit of momentum.
Yeah. Early comment coming in here from Nigel Mann. A win's a win. Let's celebrate the points. Absolutely. Doesn't matter how you win. I'd rather win ugly than lose or draw playing well, which I think in some of the games under Rooney so far, we have played quite well, haven't we? And not quite managed to get the points. But yeah, Craig, give us your thoughts, mate.
We scrapped through it. First half, what can we say? They actually at times made us look really, really, really poor, and they had some really good play about them. Their attacking prowess, their pace was phenomenal, and that really, I think, hurt us early doors. But then when Laird and Buchanan came more into the game, that to me was where we began to see more of that balance in the second half. Well, they were a different side. They were far from perfect. And, the one thing I will say is it's definitely a work in progress. They continue to build. And I think they will, again, to echo what Claire said, when we come on to talk about the way Wayne spoke last night and what we saw, then actually there's a lot of positives to take forwards. And I think, the one thing for me that stood out was the build-up, not just JJ's goal and his finish, which incidentally, for a youngster, to follow up on that shot and round the keeper the way that he did was really... And that's old head on young shoulders from that point. But he had a point to prove. He's had a lot of people knocking him. He's had... I'm standing out for Wales, and then people are questioning what the hell's he doing for Birmingham. Don't really see anything. But on Saturday, I thought his finish was great, and his prowess when he came on, and the press that he put into there was really good. And his build up and run to lead up to that goal was absolutely superb because he created the space in the middle to actually latch onto. So, you know, long may that continue. And
Definitely.
Bingo, tomorrow night, tough game. And then weekend, you know, another winnable game against Rotherham. So, albeit they gave Leeds a real run for their money, I think we can still pull it out of the bag on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think someone just put earlier that we're only 6 points off the playoffs, and you know, it would be nice if we can start looking up instead of down for a change. I'm not saying we're going to finish in the playoffs this season, but you know, if we can finish sort of like somewhere between 9th and 14th, you know, then that's big progress, isn't it, from last season, 17th, you know, and you know, it's a step in the right direction, and certainly from what we heard
last greens, Paul. Get those greens.
Greens, yes.
You've got to have a dream if you don't have a dream.
Exactly. We need to get those greens, absolutely. And Mark Adams, you missed the game, didn't you? Was you?
Yeah, I had sadly my first home game I've missed this season. First in a long time, actually. I had I'm not barred. I had a double birthday celebration. It was my carer and my ward. No, it was a joint birthday celebration, so I sadly had to miss it. But no, I mean, it was weird not being there. I mean, how bad as we've been, I do miss not being there. But anyway, I had to rely on highlights and my phone and all the rest of it, and I was chuffed to bits with that. Like you said earlier, there's no easy games in this league. I know it's cliche, I know we keep saying it, but there is no divine right to win any game in that league. No. And it's amazing, you know, how the space of 5 days, all of a sudden, everything's just changed. I mean, I didn't go last night, but just looking at the you know, people's experiences and the photos, it's just a real buzz again. It's like August again. It's like a fresh start in many ways. And I can't wait for Saturday again now. I just can't wait to be down there Saturday.
Steve Portman, Mark, what super fan misses a game?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was.
I agree.
It's my other half's birthday, and it was a mum's birthday as well.
Did you have jelly? Did you have jelly?
I always make sure any birthday celebrations in our family are on a Sunday.
I know. I tried my best. I was outvoted. So I was outvoted this time. But
Mark Meredith, mate, welcome back, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving last week.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good to be back. And again, just, you know, had a good week with family and friends and whatever. Went to Louisiana. I managed to see the game on Saturday. And, you know, it's a massive win for us. When you look at it, I think Wednesday coming into the game, bottom of the league, they're going to always be battling. And they're going to look at the form that we've had since Rooney joined. And I think, obviously, they probably...
Sorry to interrupt you, mate, but I love the way you just said, I just went to Louisiana. You know, it's just
I thought the name of next girlfriend.
It was only a 9-hour drive. That's a little drive for me.
I went to
the way you said it in the same way as I said to my wife earlier. I went up into West Bromwich today.
Yeah, went down the shop. Yeah.
Both look the same as well.
Carry on, mate.
But no, I think, you know, Wednesday probably came into it, you know, bottom of the league, battling for their lives already, even though it's only halfway through the season, and also seeing the form that we've been in since Rooney took over. I'm sure they fancied themselves as well coming into the game, but so it's a massive win for us. You know, I agree with everybody else. I thought first half we you know, huffed and puffed a little bit and didn't show very much quality. I would say that, you know, the Bacuna goal being so late in the first half and so close to when they took the lead was key for us, because I think if we'd have gone 1-0 down at half time, I think we may have struggled to get two in the second half. So I think we got, you know, Bacuna's goal was a great strike. I think we went in full of confidence, and I'm sure, you know, Wayne had a few words to say to the players, and coming out second half did a lot better. Still not where we want to be, obviously, from the start, but again, great to see JJ get a goal, and I think hopefully we can move on from that now. Got a tough game tomorrow. You know, then we got the Rotherham game coming up. I was sad that I didn't get to see last night, because I think, you know, being able to see Rooney in a room and talking the way what I've heard he talked like in his videos and stuff would have been fantastic on a coach's point of view. But no, listen, I'm still up and down with it. I'm still hoping that we can change things around a little bit. My biggest hope right now is we keep on collecting points until January, and then we let the guy go out and and buy the players he wants to buy and who he has plans for. And then I'm excited, hopefully, for the second half of the season to see what he can really put in and give us a push. But, I'm not worried about relegation right now. I'm not worried about the playoffs right now. I think, as we said, if we get there in the middle half, then that'll be a good season for us. And then we can really push forward next year and hopefully give it a go from the start.
Yeah. I think for me, the one thing, and coming on to last night now, the one thing that really opened my eyes was the way that they talked about, revenue and growth. And, when you look at it, the teams that finish in the top 6 are usually the top 6 teams that get the most growth every single season. And, the one thing that I found sort of really daunting was the fact that we were £54 million behind the team that were first in the league last season. And that is a huge gap to bridge. And, I've got every faith that these guys will do it in time. They will do it. And that's the kind of gaps that we need to close. And another thing that really hit home as well was I didn't realise how real bad it was under the previous ownership off the field. And you do think it's bad, but obviously you're always looking at it from an outsider looking in, aren't you? And, when you actually get in there and you hear them talking how bad that was and what happened, and there was no support or help for any of the staff or anything like that, it was just really eye-opening, I thought, and I just found it quite unbelievable, to be honest, and that was unbelievably bad. But now we move forward, and these staff now are all buzzing to be there, and it's absolutely fantastic. Because certainly for anybody that was there under the previous ownership, now, they've gone from sort of like hell to heaven, haven't they? In a way. And then the other thing as well that really opened my eyes was, the fact that you've got the revenue, but then also the teams that get. I can really see that they've done their homework before they made the appointment, and when they talked about the teams that get the most of the ball in the games usually get promoted. The teams that get over 50% possession in every game of the ball usually get promoted, and they really have, delved into it with a fine tooth comb, haven't they, and looked into what we really have to do to get out of this league.
And before we go into a little bit more about tomorrow night, and Mr. Meredith, you've just mentioned it, but the club have just put a post out to say that the sections of last night's streamed introduction and also the Q&As are available via the website. So there is a link that's been circulated. So if you go on, you can watch what was Gary Cook's introduction and also the small amount of Q&A due to the massive overrun that was going on. Sorry there, Paul.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark. You was going to say something, mate.
Yeah, to say, I didn't obviously wasn't there last night, but I just love the open communication of what these new owners are bringing. We had all this excitement at the start of the season when the owners took over. It went a little bit downhill when they sacked Eustace and Rooney came in. But the fact that they've opened these nights and been totally honest with, certainly the fans that were there, and then obviously they're sharing it out to everybody else now. I just think it's amazing because we've been praying for that for 10 years now. Just be honest with us. Regardless if you get it right or wrong, be honest from the start. And as a fan base, we'll believe and back you 100%. But we just need to know what's going on and why it's going on and that sort of thing. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul. I was just going to say like we said before the show started. I mean, it's very rare to find a club willing to do that, especially this day and age, and the goldfish bowl of football, So to do what they did was absolutely, it's fantastic.
I loved what Lee Harris said off the KRO Birmingham page. He just said it was like being in a Blues theme park, and it really was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They didn't hold back, They said at the outset that they would be completely open. And the one thing I can say is, the same messages got across to every single group. So whilst they were a series of presentations that were undertaken, the amount that they opened up to, to give us that insight, not only to what it was like in July when they took over, but where they are now and what they have planned for the future. Yeah. Our friend Dave Taylor was with us on the table, and we were walking down towards the ground from the club shop from one of the presentations, and he just summed it up beautifully when he turned around and he said, being a Birmingham fan for many, many, many years, but he has never been as excited as what he is now. And I honestly can say, I think everybody that walked away from last night was feeling the same thing. And, you know, if people went and they disagree, we'd love to hear those thoughts on the shape box and stuff. But anybody there that I know I've spoken to was optimistic, positive, looking forward to an extremely bright future. And, you know, we got a lot of good things to come. And there was a lot given to us last night. It was what was supposed to be 2.5 hours, I think lasted 3.5 hours. But do you know what? It was worth it. It was so worth it.
It was.
Well, like you say, Craig. Sorry, Paul. Like you say, I mean, it's interesting to know that it's the first of a few. I mean, it's not a one-off, is it?
No.
Not just a one-off. There will be another, 2 or 3 coming up.
Another 3.
They might even do them quarterly every 3 months. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they've announced that they will be quarterly now. So some of the updates that went out last night even gave the time frame for the next one. So, you know, look out for the 27th of February next year, because that's the planned date at the moment for the next one.
Excellent.
It'd be interesting to see what they cover as well at that point in time, won't it? I mean, God would have been through and everything by that point as well.
Yeah.
Carly Cup Day.
Yeah.
I said to Ian Dutton last night, like, you know, if I'm invited, you know, next time if I'm not invited, I'm going to put a wig on and turn up in disguise, and they won't recognise me.
Yeah.
But anyway, Claire, what were your thoughts from last night?
I mean, I left absolutely buzzing. It made me fall back in love with the club even more again, I think. Yeah. I mean, getting the opportunity, you know, to hear about everything that they said, going into the changing rooms. I mean, the community trust, what they've got planned as well. Yeah. I think, you know, we need to promote that as well. I think that's amazing. You know, I agree. It was all about revenue. It was nice that Rooney stood there and was like, right, this is how we're going to play. And then you can actually see it. So what they did is they showed us like training clips and then went, right, this is how this is going to work in the game. Oh, this is where this went wrong. Well, actually, if he did this, then this would happen. And actually, he came across quite a good tactical manager. Yeah. Obviously, you know, he's... actions speak louder than words. I always say that on this show because, you know, you can say how amazing everything is, but the moment their actions are talking, especially training ground wise. So another big news is in the next few weeks or months, we're going to have screens above the Tilton and the Cop, and they're taking away the side one. There was loads of things that they're going to do. You know, they came in and it was horrendous. And I think the amount of money that they've already spent, I mean, fair play to them. And, you know, what was really good about the shop, we're 100% up. So last year we made $1 million. This year we're aiming to make 2. And it's only going to go up and up from there. So I think we all came away. Obviously, we were tired by the end because it was supposed to finish at like 9:45 and we were still there 11:30. But I generally do think that they've listened. I mean, Rooney being there was a massive plus. We've asked him to, you know, engage more with the fans. You know, even though they didn't really want us to have pictures with him, me and Paul managed to sneak one in. But like even the ladies being there, like Hope Powell being there, I mean, they had everybody there. They had the main financial person there. And I think they're going on the model of Man City. Now, I'm not saying we are nowhere near Man City. We are miles away. But if you've got people who have been there, done it, I mean, that man, the infrastructure one, who's been at Brentford and all these other places, I mean, he knows what he's talking about. And fantastic. I just felt from Gary Cook that he does genuinely love the club. Definitely. And it would be like one of us. It's his dream. And, you know, when Wagner was talking, you got that vibe and all of a sudden you realised all the things that were going on. And, I mean, it was an honour to go. You know, we had, like, loads of photo opportunities. But it was, I just think that we needed something. I think we had started to dip, and it was the one quote from Wagner for me was one of the most like sad things he said was the Hull atmosphere, and the atmosphere needs to change inside the ground as well. Because, you know, if the players are being told to play a certain way, are we booing? Is that going to make it right or wrong? Now, I booed at Hull. I'm not going to say I didn't. But it kind of changed my mind actually watching them being able to keep the ball in a final third in training. And actually, now I've seen it, they've got no excuses anymore. Even Ruddy was passing the ball one touch, and it was all one touch and no one got near them. So, do you know what? Actions speak louder than words. At the moment, the owners are doing the actions. Now we need to have it on the pitch, I think. That's where I think that's where we need to work on.
Definitely.
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Go on, mate.
Go on, Mark.
Sorry, Craig. Can I ask a question? You know, how was Mr. Wagner sort of introduced? You know, because he was on a live stream, wasn't he?
Video link.
Yeah.
And what was his sort of general consensus? What did he say? You know.
Oh God! I think his professionalism shone straight away.
Yeah.
I think he really is in love. I know it's early days, but I think he genuinely is in love with the club.
He's in love with the city as well.
He
wants to make you know, Birmingham massive, not just the club, but Birmingham as a whole. He wants to change the whole place, and
I think that came over all right.
Yeah. But what he's doing as well in the community, I mean, there was a community guy as well on one of the other breakout sessions with a head teacher from a school as well, and what they were saying as well blew me away. You know, some of the stuff they're doing, unbelievable, and the fact that they got no support from the previous board was what really frustrated me the most, more than anyone else. Do you know what I mean? Because that was just ridiculous. But again, I'm thinking forward, and I think, you know, the fact that they're making sure that every child in care is going to get a Christmas present as well, stuff like that.
Amazing.
It's just
unbelievable.
And with the badge on the back of the Gil Merrick, they have been asking for that, so that might be in the pipeline. They haven't said anything. I asked about the Trevor statue.
Oh, what did they say?
Outside the cop, that's been spoken about as well. You know, adding more things to the stadium. The tannoy is going to be different. The music's going to be different. I just think it's going to be a whole new experience. I really do. And, you know, they want to make the concourses bigger, and it's all about money. The main thing is revenue. That word was said about 100 times last night. If we buy more, we'll be able to spend money. January, I don't think we will spend lots, but there is money there. Yeah. They said the main spending will be in July. So,
And just to come on to a few of the points raised on the board, sorry, Paul, you know, Claire, you've covered off the Gil Merrick side. It is being looked at. We've mentioned the big screens either end. But one of the standout things for me, and you know, we've been going to the games and I never even noticed, but we're replacing our floodlights. So the two large stanchions that you see have got new lights in there already. They're not fully finished. But the plan is that for the Leicester game, they will be done. They will have also replaced the floodlighting that goes inside the main stand, those above the roof in the cop as well. Claire mentioned there the same system that's being replaced, and the one thing that came out as a little like sneaky peeky in effect was that I think we'll be seeing a light show at the Leicester game.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about how the floodlights and everything are all going to be linked in terms of being able to give that kind of, you know, walking in and having something different to go across. So there was those areas. And I think the thing that resonated for me the most was hearing about when they went in July and they thought it was bad, but they didn't realise just how bad until they got through the door. And to kind of put a few things into position, they've already outlaid over £10 million on infrastructure.
That's going to come into that.
Right, that's not just the stands. That's, for example, £1 million that was put into the training ground before they'd even taken over the club. Yeah. They have grown their own FA Premier League style pitch. Right, so we couldn't get permission off the owners of the current training ground to put grass down. They've now worked on that. They've got that in place, and they've grown their own pitch. So they're going to be bringing that in.
It's just amazing, that is.
It's unreal. Absolutely.
Never
unreal.
thought of that.
Yeah.
And the plans for Wastills as well were brilliant. It's Wastills is not necessarily, and I think came across, is not necessarily going to be first team, but they were very, very clear on the academy, right? They are going back for Cat 1. They're trying their absolute utmost. They have plans to build on Wastills in terms of not just what's there now, but offering out areas that will be classrooms. There will be recovery rooms for the ladies and the younger lads that are there. There will be family areas so that people that are there with them can go in and relax.
That looks brilliant.
There's going to be new training, changing rooms, the works. And
good.
my God, they're shelling out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Craig, they're renovating the dome as well, aren't they? The training dome.
Yeah.
So,
And the pitches, they're having all the pitches up to replace them all because they know that they're so poor at the moment.
Yeah.
Craig,
Another
the figure on the amount they've spent already on that pitch was just astounding. What was it, 1.5 million and the heaters as well, and another million to upkeep.
And the other thing is and I couldn't help but laugh when I heard this, but up at Wastills, right, the playing pitch for what was our first team training pitch outside, the middle strip of that pitch was made up of real and fake grass. So it actually mirrored what was at St Andrews. But it was only in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
The rest of it was all natural. So basically, they ripped all of that up and they've replaced it.
A whole lot.
So, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? We always went on about muscle injuries, things that were happening at Wastills. Now you begin to think, was it down to that? How does this work? Claire, you've mentioned the fan park. Do you want to go through what was mentioned about the fan park?
I think it was by the main stand. They want to do two, don't they? They want to create two fan parks where everybody meets up. There's going to be drinking areas, and I just think it's very similar to if you've ever been to the Baggies. I think it's going to be very, again, it's a revenue spinner. And I just think that it will just bring fans together, and it's trying to get more people down there. It's trying to get more families. I mean, they're trying to really, really focus on the community as well. They've lost a lot of fans in Birmingham as such because, being a teacher myself, I know that kids are we like Man City and Liverpool, and, while they've got other teams around them. So hopefully, aiming for the children of Birmingham, let's see if we can get them back, start some initiatives for them, because they're going to be the future of our club at the end of the day. So why not make it as fun as possible?
Absolutely.
You're right in comment, by the way, that's on the message board. So Dom's put, I saw in Birmingham Live that Gary Cook was apologising for the mistake on the ticketing prices for the Sheffield Wednesday game. Was ticket pricing brought up by the audience in the meeting, or was Gary Cook's comments separate? So it was brought up as part of the Q&A session that was at the end. And yes, Gary did say that work had to continue on pricing because of the environment that everybody is in at the moment. He also mentioned how they had listened to fans, that leading up to the festive period, there was that worry around the cost of games, even after they'd been changed. And it was mentioned about the offer that was put out. That has been reiterated today by the club as well. So, in short, if you bought a ticket for Sheffield Wednesday, you were entitled to a Rotherham ticket for half price. That is continuing to roll. So, if you buy a ticket for Rotherham, go on, Paul. Leicester, that's it. So, you buy a ticket for Rotherham, you can now get a Leicester ticket for half price. So they are doing something. He did say, though, he knows times are tough. So they will continue to look at what can be done around ticketing. And I guess the key message is, we've got these opportunities now in the next couple of games to get as many people as possible and as many bums on seats. For the Leicester game, the whole stadium, as they announced it, should be finished. So it includes that bottom corner of the Kop. What I think would help nothing more is to have that stadium full for that game. And, we really need to get people down there. Tom Wagner mentioned it, and Claire, you're right. You could sense from him he's upset at the atmosphere at that whole game. And I think what it's now to do with is, he mentioned at the end, he just used the words "bring back the noise," and I think that's what, as fans, we need to do. And hey, if even 15-20% of the positivity that came out of that room last night rubs off in an atmosphere on Saturday, it's going to make the world a difference.
Yeah,
it's really. Sorry, Paul. Sorry, jump in. It's really interesting because if Saturday I couldn't give my season ticket away, nobody was interested. But I think if it was this weekend in the same boat, I think people would snatch it off me after last night.
The last night, yeah, definitely. But another couple of things I want to sort of say after last night as well. One thing that sticks in my mind, Ian Dutton said that the club shop is going to be completely overhauled in the summer as well. So we'll have that'll be unrecognisable, ready for next season, won't it? And then also the session with Daishi as well was really impressive, wasn't it? And just talking about the academy. And I did ask him the question, have we got any other players now that you feel are ready, that haven't made their first team debuts yet, but you feel are ready to do that? And he just said, yeah, at least a good sort of 2 or 3 players are ready for the first team. So hopefully we can see some more of our talent from the academy making the appearances in the first team as well, like we have this season with Ramel Donovan and Brandon Keeler.
I think the other thing as well was it wasn't a 3-year plan. I kept hearing 10 years. 10 years.
Yeah.
So this isn't, at the end of the day, managers will come and go under them. It's as simple as that. There's no way Rooney will be here for 10 years. So they're here for the long haul. They're here to make their mark. They're here to
do the job.
To change not just Birmingham, but the city itself.
Yeah.
And that's what I took from it. I took that, they're owners that care. We've moaned so many times. We've had years and years and years of sorrows. Let's see if the joys can come. We just, if they, with everything that they've decided to do, let's just see where they go from here. I mean, Rooney, has he changed my mind? It's on the pitch, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think as a person seeing him there, he has got quite a tactical mind, but I think for any manager, you can be even the nicest guy, but it's results on the pitch. And I think, they all are hopefully going in the right direction. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think on that one as well, Paul, sorry. Claire has said it perfect earlier on about actions speak more louder than words. And that's going to be a little bit with the fans and how they react to the atmosphere in the ground. They do still pay their own, well-earned money to go and watch. And if the performances aren't what they expect, which we have seen in the last couple of weeks in some of our play, then there is going to be frustrated people. That's the norm of it. So I'm hoping that as Rooney and the players bond a little bit more, we'll start to see, a lot more understanding on the field, which is then going to be a lot more understanding between players and fans as well. And that atmosphere that we are so used to and what St. Andrews used to be will come back, and it'll, go from strength to strength from there. But it certainly has to be a difference in some of the playing styles to get those, almost half of our fan base back onto wanting to go to the games because they're so used to not going now with the stadium being closed. The big thing for me now is how do we get those guys back that have spent the last year and a half, 2 years not going to the games? What's going to be the push now to get them back? And the first thing is going to be results and performances.
I think Craig Gardner touched upon it as well. I mean, that was the one thing, like I said earlier, it really opened my eyes about the way that they've looked into the last 10 years in the Championship, and the teams that that have most of the ball get promoted, and also the teams that make the most revenue. And I think he said, didn't he, that only 2 clubs in the last 10 years have been promoted and not really made any revenue, and that was Luton and Cardiff, wasn't it, under Neil Warner?
And Burnley under Sean Dyche as well.
Burnley under Sean Dyche as well. Yeah, so history does tell you that what they're doing works, in other clubs. So hopefully it'll work with us as well. But question from me to everyone here and all of our viewers, on a scale of 1 to 10 now, would we say we are when it comes to how excited we are for the future and how excited we are for the rest of this season as well? On the field for the rest of this season on a scale of 1 to 10, and off the field for the future of the club on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll start with you, Mark Adams.
Probably for the future, I'd say a good 8, probably a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But on the field at the moment, it takes a bit of convincing, so I would say probably a 7.
Okay, Claire?
But we're going the right way.
Yeah.
I think I probably agree with Mark, to be fair. I think, leaving was 9.5. I think on the field, I'd probably give it about a 7.5. I'm still a bit sceptical. I think we do need time, and that's what I think we have to start realising that we've got to give him.
Can I ask our viewers to put your real ratings in the chat box as well, please, as we go? Craig?
I think, I'm the same, really. 7 out of 10 on the field. There's improvement to be made, but there's improvement being seen. And I think that's the key thing. And what we saw in that room, to me, gives me that little bit more faith that we can continue to progress. And definitely off the field, 9s. I've also seen a couple of people just ask a couple of questions on here. We've been talking a lot about the stadium, and one of the questions that came up was it mentioned about a new stadium? It was asked. The answer was simple. The owners have aspirations to take the club and the city forwards. And then I think the key part was whether that is here is to be seen. And so they have promised that if there are any updates regarding anything else, that they will be delivered. And the one thing I honestly can say and take away from last night is I truly believe that. I think we will, as fans, potentially also be involved with discussions around what we would love to see.
Yeah.
I
think in the next 5 to 10, the next 5 to 10 years, we will be moving. But what I do think is, though, if we're at St Andrews for the next 5 years, they'll make it as good as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say for me, on the field, the jury's still out for me. I'm a 6. Off the field, I'm a good 8.5. So
that low.
8.5.
Yeah.
8.5 is high.
I think he's been being sarcastic.
The remaining 1.5, Chris, is to actually see it happen, and then I'll be a 10.
Thumbs up from me.
Before we move on to you, Chris, I just want to also say that we've had a sad loss in football this week with Terry Venables, who, for me, Euro '96 as a 17-year-old kid was probably one of the best summers of my life, and it was a great side he put together then. And if only he could have stayed on for the World Cup in '98 as well and gone even further into the England job, because I think of it, he would have been probably very likely to win us something because he was that good, wasn't he, as a coach, Terry Venables?
And he was engaging, wasn't he? Lovely bloke as well, yeah.
Yeah, he was a great bloke.
So, but anyway, Chris, sorry, mate.
Well, with me, I'll probably off the field, probably go for the 10. Purely for the enthusiasm and professionalism that was thrust upon us last night. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. I was absolutely blown away.
Last night was a 10. Yeah. Future, I'm talking about the future of the club is an 8.5 for me.
I'm still going 10. On the field, I probably wouldn't even go as high as 6. I'd probably go 5.5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mark?
Yeah, probably the same as you, Paul. Probably an 8.5 on the excitement. Obviously, we didn't get involved in last night's stuff, and obviously hearsay and hearing everything from you guys is very exciting. There's a lot of fans out there that wouldn't have been involved in last night and still have it. But I've been excited since they took over that it's going to move forward to where we've had it. Like, man, if you'd have spoke to me 10 months ago, it'd be a 0, wouldn't it? So the fact that we're at 8.5 now, and if they do bar Robe, then I might be at a 10 next week. But we'll see how his season ticket stuff goes. No, but all joking aside, and then field wise, Probably, I'm the same as Chris. Probably a 5-6. But I do believe that Rooney has ideas and how he wants to change that. I do believe that we need to bring some players in. I think with some of the players that we have within our club now are either past it and a little bit too old for what we're trying to do. And also we just don't have enough quality to play the way that these manager and owners want to play. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big test of how he recruits, him and Gardner recruit to the system that he's, talking to everyone about. So 5 or 6, but I'm hoping if you ask me again in February, it'd be an 8 and 9 because he's brought in those players in there, change that around a little bit.
Yeah. We'll do these sort of regular basis. Maybe every month or something. We'll come on to that, and hopefully it'll go higher and higher as the months go on.
On the message board, Paul, we've got Paul McCarthy who's saying the future is 9 and on the field he's 7. Steve Portman with 7.2 off on the field, 10 off. Kim Upton 9 on the future, 5 on the field. Tony Layton 9 out of 10 for the future, 6 to 7 at the moment on the pitch.
Yeah.
Nigel Mann 7 for the future, 4 for the field. However, he has said we need to show that the planning is going to come to fruition. Totally agree.
Absolutely. So I'm now going to move on to our top 5s again. We had our top 5 managers recently.
Yeah.
And after that incredible overhead kick from Garnacho at the weekend, I've got to go on to our top 5 ever goals, and we'll start from the top and work our way down. So, and this might be a generational thing.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to tell us what the best goal you've ever seen Blues score. It could be home or away, obviously, or it could be in anywhere. It's not just at St Andrews.
Yeah. I think for me. Sorry, Paul. I think I'm going to start, and the one that comes to mind as soon as you said it would be John Gale's overhead kick.
Yeah, that's not
It was the first meaningful, I suppose, game and trophy for me as a 7-year-old boy. But to see something like that happen at Wembley, I don't think that would ever change it for me.
No, absolutely. And Craig, you okay to count these up again?
I am indeed, and I can say straight off, Johnny Gale's come in a couple. Terrell versus Ipswich is another one that's been put out there by Mark Brooks.
Cameron Jerome against Liverpool.
Yeah, I was looking up. I was at Wembley '91, and I was at Anfield that night with Jerome, and I'm torn between them two.
That was breathtaking. Like, you'd never think Cameron Jerome could hit a ball that far, let alone going into the goal.
I'll tell you what, as well. Super Kev's goal against Leeds in the semi-final again for someone that was 6'7" to bang that into the top corner was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Mark. I'm going to go just about John Gale simply because it was a trophy at the end of the day at Wembley. It's my first trip to Wembley as well, so I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah, Seb Larsson as well against Tottenham away, and also Sheffield Wednesday at home. Those two were
and so far, I can say that it is in joints between Seb Larsson and Johnny Gale.
Over Femi Martins tucking it away after
as well.
We're probably going to end up getting all our top 5s in this one show, aren't we?
Don Kavanagh has said, can he put Molof Elberg's throwing into the equation?
That can count.
Craig,
absolutely.
Just call him Molof Elberg.
I did, and I'm not reversing it. I'm sorry. I won't say his name anyhow. So, I never mentioned the word from the other side of the city, so I'm not doing the names properly.
Another one could be, Stern John when he scored the last minute equaliser.
That one as well.
Tell you what, though, Brian Hughes showed some really good ones. He's got a great one away at Wimbledon. First game of the season. And he's done another one at home when he flicked it over his head, a little bit like Dennis Bergkamp-esque, when he flicked it over and he turned around and volleyed it in. Usually he scored probably 4 or 5 great goals himself.
Yeah. What about the one he got at Stoke as well in the 7-0 from like about 25 yards? That was a worldie. And then Tommy Mooney as well at home to Norwich. That was a worldie.
Well. Yeah. He got his hat-trick. Yeah.
Marcelo at Portsmouth as well away. Marcelo hit one at Portsmouth.
Hadis at Bolton.
Yeah.
Caddis at Bolton.
Craig
Bolton,
Gardner's
yeah.
goal against in the cup as well.
We'll have to do limbs as well. So we'll have to do goals and then top 5 limbs.
Top 5 limbs, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about the quality of the goals in this, though. The best.
I think that's the issue. I think that there's goals that really meant stuff. We talked about Stern John's last minute goal at Millwall and down the road. Those two, you talk about Obafemi Martins and stuff like that. And listen, these goals are tap-ins at the end of the day, but they meant so much to everybody. But I think I know what you're saying, Paul. The quality of the goal is a little bit different. But yeah,
I'll tell you another one more recent. Rusty against QPR, that little flick he did, that was a cool goal.
It was.
Because he meant that, didn't he?
Yeah.
He meant he meant it.
Tony Gale's definitely in the lead. However, it's now closely followed by and Chris. Before my time, I think before all of us, apart from yourself, is Trevor against QPR.
Yeah, Trevor. Yeah, it's home. Yeah. So
does anyone remember Wade Elliott at Ellen Road in the FA Cup? That was a worldie as well.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that was a cracking one. Yeah.
You know what? Gailey's first goal in the cup final was good as well. He took it, he spent it in his shoulder and he smashed it in top corner, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah. Goal.
But that overhead kick, I mean, I just cried like a baby when that went in.
Oh, it's unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, the overhead kick, yeah. I mean, Granger as well got a few great. I mean, the free kick against West Ham from Grange as well was brilliant.
Against Man United.
At that time, we didn't go to Wembley. We certainly don't win at Wembley, and we don't score goals like that.
No,
Did you
exactly.
say Capo against Chelsea?
Capo, yeah. As well, yeah.
Yeah. What about Devlin as well against Wolves? That volley from the angle, that was a good goal, wasn't it?
Are we doing top 100 now then? Are we just...
Dev's even says himself that QPR away was his best goal for us when he chested it and volleyed it. That was a world class goal. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Does anyone remember the Jose Dominguez one against Hull when he sort of ran off the length of the pitch and he knocked out the goal?
He was at the baby celebration.
The baby,
that's it. Yeah.
The cut was being done then because I remember him running down the wing and there was no cut. It felt like this season again.
Yeah. That's it.
Louis Donowa in the 7-0 against Blackburn when he ran a whole length.
Yeah.
Even his goal, even his chip at the Hawthorns against the Baggies, Donowa's chip then when we beat them 4-1 away.
Maybe we are doing the top 500.
It's going to be 1,000.
Heading that way, isn't it?
Yeah, Dennis is asking, what's the best goal you've ever scored, Mr. Rowe?
Me?
Yeah.
I scored this beautiful one in Subbuteo once. I flicked it just right.
Then he went...
The best goal I ever scored when I played was with my right foot and I'm left-footed. It's weird.
Yeah, mine's with my left foot and I was right-footed.
Mine was in the wrong net, I think.
What about you, Craig?
Tony Jones just put another one out there, and actually, this is a forgotten goal, but was brilliant. Stan Lazaridis against the Vile.
Oh yeah,
clean goal, and the way that it was set up. Because we're all dwelling on goals that have been scored by individuals, but actually, if you start bringing team goals into the equation, my God, there's been some great ones. But yeah, the Stans does definitely stand out from that one. But at the moment, Gailey's goal in the Leyland Daff, the second one, is in the lead.
Red kick.
Can I just go through some on YouTube as well? We've got Kenny Lowe's 80-yarder.
Of course, yeah. Kenny Lowe.
Wow, yeah.
Forsell against Sunderland. Bowyer, West Ham. Yeah, oh God, yeah. Zarate, Wade Elliott versus Wolves, lying on the ground.
Yeah, I remember that.
Eddie Brown against Pompey ran his own penalty to shoot pass up Richard. I don't remember that. Sebs versus Sheffield Wednesday.
Good go from the
midfield. Even remember Christophs against
Charlton.
Walking away when he did that little flick.
Charlton.
Brilliant goal.
Yeah,
no, that was a brilliant goal as well. I'm just trying to think that there will be more that Marlon King got a few good ones as well, didn't he?
Marlon,
You just forget though, don't you? You forget, you don't remember. I'm even racking my brains now trying to think of another one. Actually, Horsfield at Barnsley was a good one. That was Trevor's last game as the manager. and he scored a brilliant goal from outside the box with his right, and it sort of flew straight in the top corner. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Bloody hell, yeah. You forget, don't you?
You do,
Yeah.
Just while these are still coming through, well, just going a little bit back on last night, and one of the other areas that was covered off that we've kind of missed, but is pretty key, and that's the formation of an official single supporters club for Birmingham. And I know this has it's had a mixture of results, is fair to say, and reactions from the evening. But just to run through some of the things that they are planning to do, they want to bring all the fans together. So whether that be a supporters club that's based in Manchester or Lancashire, as they used as the example last night, through to the people such as Redditch Supporters Club and how they, run the coaches, Tony Routley's areas as well. And they want to bring everybody together so that we've got one fans forum and supporters club. They want everybody, as it's been put, to travel together. There's a lot of discussion around travel because ticketing came up as part of those discussions. And I think there's work, fair to say, work to be done in that area. Yeah. They want to fundraise as a group and as a supporters club to look at all the stuff in the community. And I'm not going to go through everything, but I'll post a slide basically of what was shown to people. But one of the key things for me was having that single group of people coming together also helps and links into where we were talking about revenue. And that's what it all does. And I think what we will see is as one group, you will see more of the things like players interacting and maybe making appearances and stuff. There will be people that will have the invitations to other groups, because the open house is just one of many groups that will be run. We've covered the open house quite a bit, but there's one called Blues Matters. Blues Matters is going to be starting in January. And the idea of this is to have an official engagement with the fans. So there are going to be discussion points and groups of people that can put themselves forward to have a fan's voice and act on behalf of other areas. They'll be looking at initial parts that have been suggested, right? Growing the women's game, equality, diversity, inclusion, match day experience, the club's heritage. So Jeremy Dale, mentioned this an awful lot in our presentation, but 2025, 150 years of the club. So they want to start planning things now of how we can celebrate that. Then marketing in the community, what else can we do as fans to help out? We've mentioned about buying the presents for the 12,500 children that at the moment could end up with nothing. And the club want to make sure they get a Christmas present. Watch out, incidentally, for the Blue Nose Day that's going to be advertised an awful lot by the club. Right, we have Red Nose Day in March. We're going to have a Blue Nose Day in December. So there'll be some stuff that comes out around that. I think it's the Leicester game, if I remember rightly, is a designated Nose Day. Yeah. And then finally, the other working group is the academy, with 2 more as well to be decided. So invitations will be sent out for applicants. So people who want to, and there's a lot of people out there that have said, how did the open house get chosen? Yeah. Right, they had a criteria that they followed and they stuck to. This one, though, is you put yourselves forward. If you want to be in part of it, you can put yourself forward and groups will then be selected. And then it's just how things will then move forwards. So the open house will continue. It will give a fan's voice and people will be able to input to that as well. And I think what we will see is a difference in those attendees throughout each of the groups as well. So, please watch out for the stuff that will be put out by the club. There's going to be an awful lot. And I think communication that we have been lacking, as Tom Ross said last night, not just the past 12 months or 2 years, but for the past 10 years. For me, the past 10 years, I can't say was wiped out by last night, but my God, they took a hell of a chunk out of what had happened just in that one session. So watch out for others that will be announced.
Yeah, I think as well. Sorry, I just think as well that they are watching social media. They're watching everything. So if you do apply, they're watching everything. So whatever you say, if it's negative, or it's just about us all being one club, one support, one fan base. Nobody's better than anybody else. Nobody's opinion's better. Obviously, everyone's got an opinion, but it's just making sure that everybody's on the same wavelength. And hopefully, with the open house, it does stop the rumours. It stops the little, they know this and they know that. Actually, everybody knows it because everybody's hopefully singing from the same hymn sheet.
Yeah. I think on that as well, Tom said, didn't he, that, Tom Ross said this, didn't he, that we've been kicked so many times, and the only reason that we keep getting back up is because we all stick together. And now moving forwards, as things get better, if we all stick together and stay together, it's going to get better quicker, I think, isn't it?
Definitely. Just going back to the goal scoring, Cameron Jerome's making a late run here with his goal at Liverpool.
His message, does he?
His message, he's saying he wants us to be there. What else have we seen?
I know it was only a tap in from Paul Furlong, but Brian Hughes turned into line on block Diego Maradona against Ipswich, and he got the ball just inside his own half, and he ran all the way, went past about 6 players, and then he went round the keeper. Does anyone remember this? And then from an angle, he just went to try and score, but he just couldn't quite. The angle was a bit too tight for him to put it in himself. So Furlong had to tap it in. But yeah, that probably would have been the best ever goal at St Andrews if he'd have actually scored it himself. But it ended up being a tap in for Furlong. But it had to be tapped in, otherwise it probably wouldn't have been a goal because their defender would have got it. But what a run from Hughes! Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it as well. Can I just shout out Debs against Wolves, the volley?
Yeah, I said that.
I've said that one. Sorry, Paul.
Behind the times, Mr. Adams. Behind the times.
Sunjic against Derby.
And him.
No, Keithton Bowd against Derby. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
My dad just said for the older fans, Dad just said Barry Bridges' scissors kick in the FA Cup.
No, don't remember.
Chris might know that one.
No, I don't know.
I think someone made a good shout earlier. Ricky Otto at Anfield. That was a great team goal.
Oh, yeah, that was a great goal. Can I just go back to the open house from on YouTube? BCFC Ireland says Tom Wagner. Did he really explain why JE was sacked, and what did you all think?
In
a roundabout way.
Yeah, it was. I don't think so. If truth be told, I think the way it came across was that there was more than just a decision on necessarily how we were playing. That was the impression that I got from the statement that was made. What Tom did turn around and say was that it's a tough decision. No matter what you're doing, it's a tough decision to always replace a manager. Yeah. But they had aspirations to take things forward. He wished John Eustace every luck in the world and has said if ever there were positions and he wanted help and support, he would help and support him with that. But I do get the impression that potentially legally they can't say too much more. I mean, Paul, Claire, how did you feel about it? That might just be my, interpretation of what we heard.
I agree.
I just think they look back. Sorry, Claire. I just think they look back at the way successful teams have been playing in this league, and they're all looking after the ball, aren't they? They've all got over 50% possession, and with John Eustace, we were an out of possession team more than in possession, weren't we? And the counter-attacking team, and that's not, that wasn't the way. I don't think when they looked into it and they did their homework, I don't think, I think that's what they looked at more than anything, and then that's what kind of ultimately made the decision for them. But the only sort of thing that surprised me was the choice that they made with Wayne Rooney, just because he's so young and he's still finding his way, and there's no record of any promotion or anything on his CV yet to prove, he's done what we want to do. But, I'm all for giving him a chance. Let's give him a chance. He's come in, and that's the way he wants to play. And I didn't follow Derby much when he was there. I can't imagine him doing nothing spectacular with a load of kids and Curtis Davies there, and he did do really well there under the circumstances, but I didn't watch enough of him to know exactly how much of the ball they had there. But DC United as well, again, I didn't watch them at all, so I presume that's the way he played anyway in his previous jobs, and obviously his name in the game is huge, and from a commercial point of view, it's massive, isn't it? Because he just sort of like, brings a lot more money into the club than, God bless him for what he did here. But John Eustace just isn't going to bring us, make us a global brand, is he? Unfortunately,
really, he's a revenue buster, isn't he? I mean, that's
Paul.
That's what he is.
Sorry, Paul. Did sort of Rooney open up as to how he finds the city as in general, like the community and the city? Did he give any?
No. It wasn't really an interview, Mark, with Rooney. It was more of no. So we had Darren Carter talking about the women's tactics with videos of the play and explaining what they were doing, and then again with Wayne Rooney with the men's team. We wasn't really given the opportunity to ask any questions, really, were we, with Rooney and Carter?
That was interesting as well. You mentioned there Daz Carter, but actually the fact that the women's team are playing and want to play the same style of football as the first team men's, the fact that they want to take that down into the under-21s, the academies, the kids, they really want to use that same kind of way of playing across all teams. And I think it was really interesting to see both Daz Carter's videos and the way that the ladies had gone from actually, being outside of each other and not really gelling, to then gelling and seeing some of the ways that they came forwards and the goals they scored. Yeah. And then comparing it to the men's, it was actually very, very similar in terms of the way they started and way they are now. And I mean, Claire, you mentioned it there, the Man City kind of link, in effect, of the way that we play. God, if we can get 20% of what Man City were, then we can go a long way. But you can see there is that vision there, and they want to take it forward. They want to grow the kids. They want to bring the kids through. So Mr. Meredith, obviously, music to your ears being a coach, but what came out from them was they also want to be, in effect, self-sufficient. So they want these lads and ladies that are getting opportunities. They want them to stay in that first team. They want to put them out there. We had Brandon Killer there last night talking about his experience of the academy and how breaking into the first team and how it made him feel. And then we also had Gemma Lawley saying exactly the same thing. And what's interesting for me is they're one of our own. And Liam Dace, he said it, nothing better than hearing your home fans sing one of our own. Yeah. And actually that really boosts those players coming on. And I think he is such a great person to have on board with the academy, and his passion shone through.
It's still scary. We're going to go along with it.
Yeah. But no, I think for me, that's why I'm probably a little bit lower on the field than I am off it, because Gary Cook has been there and done it, and he's done in another club what he's trying to do here. So that's why it gives me more confidence off the field at the moment than on it. But that doesn't mean to say it's not going to work. I'm not saying that it's not going to work with Wayne Rooney, because I really hope it does. But but let's see where we are come with Rooney. For me, maybe January and then the summer, and then going into next season. This time next year, let's see where we are then.
Interesting to find out the special guest at St Andrews last Saturday. And Paul, I'm not too sure. Did you hear who it was as well? Yeah. So I believe that firmly is probably the mentor of Wayne Rooney, but Sir Alex Ferguson was present at the game on Saturday.
Was it? I thought you was going to say Trevor Matthews.
Trevor Matthews. Sir Alex was there as a guest to see it, and I think what that also kind of, everybody's putting two together and probably making five here, but having Sir Alex present is going to help Wayne. He's going to learn. He's got nobody better for me in terms of management style to learn from than Fergie, because he brought the best out of the group of youngsters. Let's face it, nobody ever thought Man United would do with that young team what they did. So if he can help him and bring him through and nurture him through this, great. But also there's that link. We've already got a good link with Manchester United and Birmingham. Hannibal last season, Laird this season. Who knows? In the window, we ain't got a fat lot of money.
Yeah, but they also give us Tyler Blackett, Craig. I don't know if I'll ever forgive him.
Yeah, there is that one. Yeah.
I thought Craig was. I thought Craig was going to say Holly when he first said there was a guest there, but
No, Mr. Meredith, I've got to say, right. So, if we're on the subject, and Claire, I don't know whether she's watching, but it was brilliant, the banter at the back of the tilter, right, and gave as good as we got. It was absolutely superb. But a certain individual, no names mentioned, but he's on my screen right smack bang centre and at the bottom of the Zoom call, was in a rather, should we say, inebriated state before kick-off had even started.
We haven't won in how many games, so I just thought, do you know what, let's celebrate and let's get a win, and we did.
Sucking offence, that is.
Never seen anybody eat a portion of chips with bacon and cheese sauce on top as quick as what they did.
Didn't have cheese sauce, can't have cheese.
Can't have cheese, there you go, you had the bacon. But also, what a great...
So
great
on a scale of 1 to 10, Craig, on a scale of 1 to 10, how drunk was she really before the game even started?
On the basis of the fact that I texted her while she was at the bar and said jokingly, I'll have a pint. And she actually come back with a pint. Must have been seriously inebriated, but no, was quite funny. And it was a good crack. In fact, Claire, is it not true? Never seen Birmingham score a goal, let alone win. But went away actually quite impressed with what she'd seen.
It's because they've been to Blackburn away and Blackburn at home in the cup. So it hasn't been a very good thing. But yeah, I mean, we went to the Roost beforehand. We saw some of the people that we go away games with, and it was really good. What I thought last night is, just from like a woman's point of view, is how many women were in the room as well. And it was really nice that obviously, being part of her game too, and like Helena and Lindsay and Ellie and, Emily and everybody else, that, that we've had our say as well. And it's really nice that, they are doing things in our toilets as well, like putting the sanitary products in and unfortunately, because we had a woman referee as well, and unfortunately 2 people decided to not follow what probably should happen. But then at the same time, well done to the club for putting out a statement beforehand. I think, I thankfully haven't heard anything like that. I mean, the people around us, Craig, are, they have to listen to me bang on most of the games. But then even away from home, I haven't really heard it either. So I'm hoping that, I didn't think she was great, but then, I'm not saying she's not great because she's a woman. The ref just wasn't, she didn't have a brilliant game, but at the same time, she was consistent. So... We've had worse
male refs, haven't we? Yeah.
So, she's at the end of the day, she's a referee. She's got quite high up. Will she ref in the Premier League? I think she will. And, it's just remembering that it's a referee. We don't normally get good male referees, so...
No, exactly.
Claire, Nigel Mann said, it's shocking, your behaviour. So now can we have you known as Claire Dribbling?
I've been called worse. It's fine. I've already been called that with my last name. I've been called everything, so it's all right.
Have we got any, I know obviously it's a bit of a last night special, and obviously we're celebrating our first win under Rooney, but have we got any other games to play this week, Craig? Any squad game or anything at all?
No, because of how late it was last night, I haven't had a chance.
No. Okay.
He's only got one job, ain't he, that Craig?
I know, yeah.
We'll have less of that.
Do you think there was anything that they didn't say that you would hope that they would have said? Like, is there anything that they didn't touch upon that you thought, why haven't they done that?
I don't think so, no. I think they covered pretty much everything, and the fact that we went around all different departments of the club as well was just amazing, wasn't it, really? It really was. It was...
I'll tell you what was an eye-opener. And Mark, I don't know whether this is the case out in the States as well, but there's obviously a huge difference between your home side of things and then the way that the away team and I say treated because obviously that's not the way to put it, but the difference, first of all, in the dressing rooms, right? So you walk into the home dressing room, we've got a really swanky setup, and you'll see some pictures that we'll post on the socials. We've got all the state-of-the-art stuff in the rooms. We've got, the badges and all nicely set up so it's ready when the players go in with the kits. You go to the away end, right? You had plain white walls, wooden benches and metal hooks on the wall, because it was almost as though, do you know what, we don't want to know. We want you to feel intimidated as such. And walking into the tunnel was exactly the same. You come out of the home dressing room, lights, all the different posters. Actually, the one thing that really stood out was the wording that they used throughout. It was so positive.
Oh, the slogans.
Slogans. Birmingham on the up was everywhere. About being the best, standing out was all across. But then you walk out your way changing rooms, you're looking at a stark blank wall, and they have to walk into that afterwards. So that was the one thing. And the seating, in the dugouts. So they explained why it had all been changed, which was obviously partly to do with the fan experience, making sure that the fans could see, but also being in and around. But the home seats were all heated. The away ones aren't.
They do that in other teams. So when, in of Premier League teams like Manchester United and Liverpool, they've got the heated bit on the floor so that their feet can stay warm. And,
the plugs.
I think when we won the cup, and the difference, it was brown. There was it was brown and blue. It was horrible. And then walking in, you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm. But we had
I think it's done at every, in every sport, every ground. I think they, there's the standard rules around what they have to have and what there has to be in there. And then obviously you spend as much money and whatever you want to change your experience for your club. So certainly when you tour the NFL stadiums here, it's exactly the same. You've got everything you want in the Dallas Cowboys locker room, for instance, here in Dallas. Then you go to the away room and it's just literally a box. Still got all the seating that has to be in there and enough room for every member of the roster, but it's a box. They have to bring their own treatment tables, they have to bring their own drinks, everything. Where you walk into, the Cowboys one, and then each player's got their own individual TV and massage chairs and all sorts like that. So I think it's something that is done all over the world in every sport, and I like it. I read back before when we had the old changing rooms in the old main stand, or way back when it was Barry Fry, and even before that players would go in and turn the heating up really high in the away changing rooms before the away team got there. So it was, they were sweating and losing a lot of energy. But all these stories come out from players that obviously you wouldn't get that now today, but it's always been, I think, us against you on those days. And that's what your advantage of being at home was all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had for our sort of tour guide, we had Davo, and he was absolutely fantastic. I've got to say that. And does everyone know that we've got the longest tunnel in the Football League?
Really?
Halfway?
Yeah.
I suppose, because it goes the whole width, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they get them to go in through the short way, so that they walk longer out, and then they don't put the heating on for them either. That was what I found out.
Yeah, that's what we found out.
But no, the only negative, and it's not a massive negative for me, but if I still sat there, it would be, is the leg room in the new seats beyond the, in lower Tilton and the lower Cop are just, slim to none, aren't they? If you're over 5 foot,
non-existent.
Over 5 foot, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, it was.
Just some of the comments on the board as well. So Ray Hobrose asked, will they change the ticketing priorities for away games, or will it still be platinum, gold, silver, etc.?
Stand back. Here comes Claire. Here comes Claire.
Claire raised this yesterday.
I'm going to the toilet.
Yeah, don't run away now. Claire, shout at me if I get this wrong. When we had our breakdown, and it was around the supporters groups, there was the talk of a selection of tickets being made available to the supporters groups for in and around that particular area. So the example Claire gave, people travelling from Plymouth, for example, they would get an allocation of tickets. It was raised. Would it change the platinum, gold, silver? The answer was no.
They said that the platinum, gold and silver wouldn't change.
That's it.
But for example, if they had like Yorkshire Blues and we were against Huddersfield, they would like to give them 5% of the ticket. So there was a few of us there who were platinum. And I totally understand if you live miles away and you don't get to go to home games, okay, fine. If there is a game near to you and you struggle to get there, okay. But what we then said was they need to remember the loyal fans that they've had for the last 10 years of it being horrendous. The one season me and my mum went, we saw 4 wins out of all of the away games we went to. It was dire. We travelled to Sunderland, Middlesbrough. I mean, I've worked out that I think we've done 1,000 miles within a month, and it was 24 hours of travel. If, for example, it gets to if it gets to like bronze or it gets to season ticket holders or general sale, do you know what? Give them a load of tickets. Fine, let's sell it out. Let's do it, but don't take it away from the fans that go home and away, especially the ones that go away. If you're platinum, we only miss 4 games in the whole season. You can't, because I made the suggestion of what happens if we went to Luton, for example, where there's 1,000 tickets and there's a London Blues. Are they going to have 5% of that? So somebody who's been home and away for season after season is going to miss out. I get that, not everyone can make every game, and I get that it's my decision to do, home and away games, but don't kind of agree with some of it. And that's one of the things that I think that was the only negative of the night. You got to justify it. I mean, then I think Jeremy Dow was shocked at the reaction. And then all of a sudden he was like, no, it won't affect platinum, but I don't want it to affect even bronze because they've still made the effort to go to games away. So I think that is something that they really, really, really need to think about. I'm happy for them to have tickets. If it's general sale and they can't sell out, do you know what? Give them 200 tickets for free to put bums on seats and away game, fine. Like tomorrow, say if it's up north, Northern Blues, whoever they are, do you know what? We haven't sold out. We got 1,000 tickets left. Give them 200. Go on. That's fine. As a gesture, but don't take it away from platinum, gold, silver, or bronze.
I just want to sorry, Mark, go on.
I was going to say, Robe chose a birthday on Saturday, so does that mean he loses his ticket for Rotherham now on next week?
Losing for Rotherham, he's lost it full stop, Mark.
No. I heard that question wasn't raised last night.
It was just a question.
We lose, Robe. You're not coming.
No, I'm not having it. No. I shan't have it.
You are banned if we lose. But I just want to shout out the staff as well at the Blues last night because I thought they were absolutely magnificent.
Fantastic.
And you got to think as well, they've been there all day as well, haven't they? So, and they were there till 11:30. Would have been God midnight, wouldn't it, when they were all packing away after when we'd all gone. So I just want to shout out to the staff as well. The people that presented, all the staff that worked in the kitchens and around the bars and all that sort of thing.
And Tom Ross, don't forget. Tom Ross did
Tom was brilliant. I think the people that presented to us, were fantastic as well, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
And just to come back on that question around Tom Brady, so it was raised, last night he was asked around Tom Brady and whether actually his name was being used as a gimmick. The answer was a resounding no. And it was interesting to find out actually what's happening at the moment, and Craig Gardner covered a little bit off, as well as Gary Cook, in from a nutritional side of things and the injury side and how they can be prevented. There are 2 people that have come over from the States now that have been with us. I think one of them was 4 weeks, one of them's 2 weeks.
Yeah, not been long, yeah.
and they've been working with the teams around nutrition and how that can be looked at and improved, and actually has gone down very well with the players. So, whilst he may not be there and present, he is definitely providing the support via his group and his project work out in the States and how it will come forward. And Gary also did cover that he will be coming to other games. They know when he's coming. I'm guessing because of his profile, they can never say. But, as he said, whenever he's there, he's on the socials, so keep an eye. And actually, on that social side of things, I think it was Ian Dutton, when he did his presentation, mentioned a figure which was phenomenal. 2.3, I think it was 2.3 billion. Like social media hits since these guys have taken over. And that's not just down to the Brady side of things. This is the whole picture. And the fact that we've gone from being, as Ian mentioned, supported by companies who are all local that have been our saviours in a way and keeping us going over the past few years. We are now being noticed as an international brand. And he was very clear that there are going to be announcements that I think are going to shock people over the next few months and periods of time in terms of who's coming in as partners and who's going to be supporting us and moving these things forward. And he was very clear. We still couldn't do it without those local companies and local people that are Blues fans. He was very clear that we want the sponsorship and the areas to be Birmingham fans. We want to recognise those people that are there and those businesses. So, they've been our saviours so far. They will still be involved moving forwards.
Did he also mention, Craig, that there was big names on the horizon as well?
Yeah, it's. I think what we're going to see over the next upcoming few months, and that's what it's going to be. It's months. These aren't going to happen in weeks or anything else, but in months are going to be superb. And actually, we was in the club shop, and I didn't realise this, but we actually have somebody now employed by the club that worked for over 40 years for JD Sports that's now there guiding us on the merchandise and the sales and how to promote these sorts of things. So it's not all about just the undefeated hoodies, caps and T-shirts, but actually what else can we do, merchandise-wise? What is it we can do? And he just summed it up as pretty much the world is our oyster at the moment because we are just open to everything. And that's when he discussed, as Paul mentioned, the refurb of the club shop at the end of the season. So, yes, the website. This could be really interesting. So they're revamping the whole lot. We're going to have a new sales platform. And on the supporters club side of things, that is actually having a purpose-built website so that when that is launched, it's going to be top of the range. We're going to have everything from links from, where those groups are. So it will show you across the world where everybody is, the people that are involved, So we'll have a star in America. We'll have stars out in Australia. We're literally all over the place. And that will continue to build.
Was there any?
Sorry, Mark, he also said as well that they'll have higher stock levels, won't they, of like shirts and they'll also have more generous sizes as well for people that are big boned like me.
And we're staying with Nike as well, aren't we? That was in the news yesterday. I think they're talking to Nike, so they're staying with them.
Yeah. So they'll and that guy, I've got to say, that guy as well in the shop that they've employed that was at JD Sports for over 40 years. I forget his name, forgive me, but
the finance bloke,
he's absolutely fantastic. He helped me out when I got my away shirt and my home shirt, and he was just so helpful and so good. He was brilliant.
Isn't he a Blues fan?
Yeah, he's fantastic. Really is. So you can't help you enough.
That was the thing about the management team. Actually, they had links with the club. Throughout. Gary being the fan, Craig Gardner obviously involved fan. Ian Dutton didn't realise he'd done 17 years at our club.
I first met Ian when he was in commercial sales, in about 2007.
Yeah, I can remember him. Yeah, I remember him showing people to their seats, and
yeah. Used to have blonde, bushy hair, didn't they?
Yeah, getting drinks for people, you know. Yeah.
And Ray Obro said people moan about the price of an undefeated hoodie, but Inter Milan's home shirt is €150.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm conscious now. We've got a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I want predictions for tomorrow night and Saturday.
Right. Okay.
Can I go first? Can I go first?
Go on,
I love this humour. I think tomorrow we're going to get an away win. I really do think we'll win tomorrow. I think we'll win 2-1 tomorrow, and I think we'll win 2-1 on Saturday.
We're at Blackburn away, Mark.
Sorry, no, Blackburn away tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, Blackburn away tomorrow 2-1.
Win Blackburn away.
Blackburn away, we'll win both games 2-1.
Okay, I hope you're right, Mark. Yeah, go on, Claire.
I would take 1-1 tomorrow, and I reckon we'll beat Rotherham 3-0.
Ooh, Craig.
I'm going to take the board draw tomorrow night. You know, the 0-0 up there, and I've got to echo the 3-0. Actually, I really do fancy us to go out. There's a few people saying 6-0, by the way, Chris. So you might be in trouble.
God, it's bloody freezing.
That wasn't mentioned last night.
Well, yeah, he's going on the big screen if it happens, either end of the ground.
Oh, God, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
How good was that screen, the Jasper Carrot, by the way, as well, that they'd put up? I mean, that was incredible, wasn't it? It was about 10 times the size of the projector, wasn't it? It was brilliant.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Craig. So, Saturday, did you say Saturday?
So, Saturday, 3-0. Tomorrow night, 0-0. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, Mark?
I'm going to go 2-0 either side. I think we'll lose 2-0 tomorrow. I don't think we'll get nothing tomorrow, but I think we'll beat Rotherham 2-0 Saturday.
Yeah, I'll take a draw tomorrow, but I just can't see it. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 loss tomorrow. And I fancy us giving somebody a tanking. So, I'm going to go 4-1 Rotherham.
What, I'm going to go 4-1 to Rotherham or against?
4-1 to Rotherham?
Against Rotherham.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
I'm going to go for a Desmond tomorrow night, 2-2. And then I'm going to go for 3-1 on Saturday.
And on the message board, we've got a lily pad saying 1-1 tomorrow, 2-0 on Saturday. We've Paul Lilly, 1-1 tomorrow, 4-1 on Saturday. Ray Hobro, 1-1 tomorrow, Saturday, a 1-0 win. Nigel Mann says he'll think we'll lose 1-0, but it'll be a tough game tomorrow, and then a 2-0 win at the weekend. Dave Twine, 2-2 tomorrow, Saturday 2-1. Dom Kavanagh, 1-1, and then 2-1 at the weekend. Michael Woods has gone for 1-0 for both games to Birmingham. 2-2 tomorrow, 3-0 Saturday from Mike Evans, Steve Kimberley, 1-1 and 2-0. And then finally, Michael is saying Blues are going to win one away and at Blackburn, and Saturday 3-0 at home to Rotherham.
Paul, wrap it up, boy.
Well, thank you everyone for watching and giving up your time watching us talking about the Blues again on a Tuesday night for a change. Right, got it right.
Hey.
So yeah, it's good night from me.
Good night from you. Good night.
Good night, Paul.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, good night from Mark Adams.
Good night, everyone. Have a good week. See you all soon.
You're just supposed to follow suit, Mark, but I'll do the script, so don't worry. Yeah. Good night from Claire.
Good night. Hopefully we'll get results tomorrow. Safe travels to everyone.
It's good night from Craig.
Yeah, it's good night from me, and it's good night from Mark Meredith.
Good night. Keep right on.
And it's good night from me as well. In case you forget, it's good night from me as well.
It's good night from Chris.
That was me. I forgot you.
Hopeless. We'll have to get this right for next time, won't we?
We haven't been told this.
I wanted to win anyway.
Good night, John.
This kind of stuff proves it's live.
It does, yeah.
Come on, Giggling.
Bye, Mum. Love you.
Oops, sorry. I want to win.
I do too, funnily enough.
What's going to call?
If we lose Saturday, Robe's out for good.
I told you, I'm not having it.
90 minutes without a bucket. Someone just said, "Where's Nick?"
I'm over the big screen.
Why did you not buy your your partner and her mom tickets for the game for their birthdays, man?
Should have done, really.
Just smile.
Got them a beer and a bit of street food. It'd been great.
No, it was. Hence why I did it.
Balti pie last night was amazing.
Should have asked Claire about that.
Balti pie? Did you get a Balti
Yes,
pie?
steak and
Your
kidney.
Balti pies.
Chocolate pies.
Free?
Yeah, and beer.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you save it? Like,
It was at 20 past 10 at night, though. I did take a Coke Zero as well.